What's going on, everybody? Kevin Cage back with another crypto update. Happy Friday, and let's dive right in. So, I have to head to the airport, so I wanted to do a quick video today and make sure I get all this done. So let's kind of get into it. So first up, I know I tweeted this back out in November, just going over a list of Ripple acquisitions, whether it's Medico, Standard Custody. Some of these amounts that they invested weren't publicly disclosed, but we have Rail for $200 million, G Treasury for Treasuries, a massive market as we can see, for $1 billion. We have Hidden Road, which is now Ripple Prime. They acquired them for $1.25 billion. And even Palisade for a digital asset custody solution, more so wallet as a service, I believe, related to infrastructure and custody. So when we go back, across the board, at least for publicly disclosed values, we're talking about $2.7 billion. Now, at least what Ripple has said is they've invested $4 billion across the ecosystem. So obviously the rest of that is not publicly disclosed, but we have a massive amount of money being reinvested into this space to build infrastructure for treasuries, stablecoins, a variety of custody solutions, and prime brokerage. Now, my point with that, and let me go over this, then we'll go over some recent news, is we had this come out last month. So we had Ripple Prime partnering with EDX to bridge institutional access to digital asset liquidity. So we have this group EDX, we have EDX Markets and EDXM International, and a little bit about them. They are backed by Citadel. And funny enough, they also applied for a National Trust Bank charter, so we can see this back in April. And we know back in November, we had Ripple National Trust Bank. The OCC announces conditional approvals for 5 National Trust Bank charter applications. So we had Ripple and then a few other groups listed. So we have BitGo, Fidelity, Paxos. And just for perspective, we have the institutions that make up the federal banking system conduct approximately 67% of the banking activity in the US, holding more than $17 trillion in assets combined and administer more than $85 trillion under their control. So back to this EDX, so they are basically an institutional crypto exchange. They're backed by Citadel, Charles Schwab, a bunch of groups. And why they're relevant is that they have some of the most powerful or biggest market makers and brokerages on Wall Street today. So EDX isn't directly holding clients' assets, and they're more so just focusing on institutional trading rather than just retail. So we can see by integrating with Ripple Prime, we're expanding access to deep, transparent liquidity across spot and perpetual future markets through a capital-efficient framework designed for scale. And again, my voice is gone, but I don't have time to re-record and trim this out. And most importantly, the partnership lays the groundwork for the future integration of the Ripple US dollar, the backed stablecoin, as a settlement and collateral asset on EDX. So when you see EDX, just think that they are connecting these two institutional hubs, Ripple Prime, the brokerage, and then even using the Ripple US dollar as collateral, the stablecoin that is basically the asset that flows between these trades. So when we go back, we are talking, $4 billion invested, almost $3 billion put together to assemble all of this. Treasury rails, prime brokerage, stablecoin payments, custody, you name it. And they're really prioritizing leveraging the Ripple US dollar, ideally the XRP ledger and not just the Ripple US dollar on Ethereum, as the settlement layer for institutions. Alright, next up, if you guys have time, please check this video out. This is a really good video uploaded by Ben the other day. If you just want to search this title, and be sure to check this out. Basically what he's looking at is the supply and profit of Bitcoin versus the supply and loss. And he's noting that we crossed here, and historically after crossing, we usually see, per the cycles, Bitcoin to find its bottom over the next several months. So based on this, for Bitcoin to find its bottom between now and even October, that would make a lot of sense historically. Alright, next up, we had this news also come out yesterday. So we have Ripple and Bitso expand partnership to advance enterprise stablecoin settlements in Latin America. So we have MXNB, this is the Mexican peso, as a stablecoin supported on the XRP ledger's permission DEX infrastructure. And they go on to say, expanding enterprise-grade settlement capabilities across one of the world's largest cross-border payment corridors. So the Mexican US dollar remittance corridor is one of the biggest in the world. As they say down below, the MXNB will support more efficient liquidity and settlement flows for enterprise cross-border payments across the US-Mexico corridor. And this stablecoin is going to be integrated into the XRP ledger's permission DEX. So why are they leveraging this permission DEX? Because this is designed to support regulated financial activity by enabling verified counterparties to access on-chain liquidity and settlement infrastructure. So this is fully compliant, more regulated, and this is how stablecoins have to be used. So Ripple, the company, understood that, and that is exactly why they are pushing this stablecoin infrastructure. Stablecoin infrastructure runs on top of crypto networks. The US dollar, all these currencies are usually reserved, pegged 1-to-1, and stablecoins are obviously going to be one of the #1 growing assets as AI, RWAs, and machine-to-machine payments grow, especially with agentic AI. So we're seeing a lot of announcements like this, and this just basically means that we're going to see more settlement flows through the XRP ledger. The Ripple US dollar getting more on-chain pairing with different stablecoins, in this case the Mexican peso stablecoin, and the XRP ledger growing as the chain for regulated enterprise payments. So lots going on. Obviously, we have the Ripple National Trust Bank charter that we have to keep an eye on when this could be approved, possibly in the next 12 to 18 months, and this was posted back in April, so we're getting closer by the day. And then even as we're getting closer to July 4th, America's 250th anniversary, to see if we can get the Clarity Act actually pushed through or delayed, and that is one of the biggest decisions that we have upcoming this year for the entire crypto space. So we're going to find out what the master plan is going to be. Does the Clarity Act get approved? Is there a big V up? Is it delayed? Is there more market manipulation? And obviously, I'm sure people are still kind of chatting about Trump with those $2,000 stimulus checks. If anything goes through from tariff revenue, because sometimes the math just doesn't make sense to be able to pay everybody that. If it did go through and everybody got, say, a $2,000 check, if we went back to COVID payments, I think it would make sense for that check to come out as we are closer to a market top. So basically, say the market is pumping in this example, hypothetical scenario, and everybody gets their 2K checks. Crypto's going up, a lot of retail investors are emotional, and then they'll want to invest into crypto. And that would kind of, for me, make sense for a blow-off market top, if that happened by end of year. I guess what I'm saying is, if there is going to be, because we don't know if there will be, some type of stimulus check for millions of Americans, I don't think the government and the crypto market has our best interest at heart. So if we got those checks and people are getting those checks, I believe that there would be either a big blow-off top to sucker us in so that they get all that money back, or some large crash. That's just my opinion, not financial advice. Alright, in other news, we also had RippleX sharing that XRP has been recognized in Fortune magazine's inaugural Fortune Crypto 100, ranking the most influential crypto projects shaping the future of blockchain. So legitimately highlighting the XRP ledger, so surprise, surprise. And then down below we have blockchains and protocols, so Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Link, Polygon, XRP or the XRP ledger, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Sui, and Zcash. And then another really interesting thing I saw was this, so shared by Cointelegraph related to Stellar. So we have Stellar planning to migrate XLM accounts to quantum-resistant signatures while preserving addresses and history by the end of 2027. So first, we already know the DTCC, $114 trillion in AUM, and I think their clearinghouse is moving. I mean, we're talking over $2 quadrillion in securities every year. And I know that number sounds made up, it's a big one. And what they've said is they have their DTC tokenization service set to launch. Oh man, I don't want to actually say that. I think it was by October of this year, at least that's the launch date. But what they even mentioned is they plan to connect tokenized securities to the Stellar network in the first half of 2027. So that alone is massive, but now we have even the Stellar Development Foundation discussing quantum preparedness and just laying out the 3-stage roadmap for the XLM or Stellar network against quantum computing threats. So this would be a really important step, and I think a lot of other blockchains would follow, because if they get this right, that means that there's no crazy wallet migrations, there's no history of lost transactions, it would just be a nice smooth upgrade. And set the stage for a lot of other networks, even the XRP ledger, that do the same thing. And just going back to the DTCC, their tokenization service, even leveraging the Stellar network in 2027, every institutional or enterprise network, it has to be freaking bulletproof. So that is so important. And realistically, they're going to be leveraging the public networks that are tried and true, that are not hacked, have been around for years. Like, think about it. If you are trading stocks, ETFs, even indices, or the S&P 500 or the Russell 2000, all of these things, treasuries, it has to be bulletproof. And last but not least, referring to infrastructure and these public crypto networks that have to be bulletproof for enterprise adoption. As a retail investor, we have to make sure on our end that our accounts are set up, our actual wrappers are bulletproof as well. So if you haven't already, make sure you create an account on iTrustCapital. This is where I've had my Roth IRA since 2020 for tax-free growth. There's a lot on the way. We know that stocks and ETFs are coming. We even had Jared Feldman mention that 10,000 stocks and ETFs are going to be available. So that means with a single login, you could have a Roth IRA, you could have a normal non-IRA account, like a premium custody account, and then you could even have a treasury account. We can already trade 24/7, it's actual real US-based support, not some stupid AI chatbot, thousands of reviews rated excellent, and over $17 billion in transactions. We're going to be living in a future where you're on iTrust, you're going to be able to seamlessly trade between XRP, a stablecoin, the US dollar, even RWAs in the future, and then even trading right between stocks and ETFs in a single portfolio, one login with different accounts. And remember, the best time to get started is now. Use the link in the top of the video description and you get a $100 bonus when you fund. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a great weekend, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button and let me know your thoughts down below. You can find all links to my crypto resources, including tools for charting, trading bots, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts right in my link tree in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.